A very good evening to our dear parents, teachers, students of class 10. Our moderator for this session, Dr. Aditya Vij, our alumni, and education professional, renowned antiquarian. A very warm welcome also to Mr. Saurabh Chopra, the Vice President of Sahodey. He has also joined us. And of course, a very, very special welcome to our resource person for the day, Dr. Kavita Monga. In today's extremely tough competitive world, I'm sure you'll all agree, students are gearing up to pursue a career which they are passionate about. So we are here today with a very, very important career counseling session for you, dear students of class 10, to help you identify your career passion after knowing all the possible career options which are available to you. And we are very happy to announce that we have amidst us a very renowned resource person for this session today, Dr. Monga, who's been awarded an honorary doctorate from the prestigious Sorbonne University in Paris, France, for her exemplary services in the field of education. Ma'am is the recipient of one of the most coveted Global Leaders Award at the international level and State Teachers Award at the national level. She's always shown her innate love for children, her passion for education and guidance has always led her to research in the field of education, its structure, human and student psychology effectively. The research done clearly suggested that there was always a great need to guide and mentor students at all levels, leading to the birth of GSL Edu Excellence. Ma'am's mission is to enable students to select the best fit in a stream or career of their choice. She's been a life coach, a career mentor, and education consultant for the past 20 long years. Her cheerful, empathetic, encouraging, and optimistic nature has enabled thousands of students understand themselves better, which has helped them choose the right field of study and career pathways. So, with a very keen and listening ear, ma'am, we are all here awaiting for your session. So, over to you.
A very good evening to everyone. I would first of all like to thank Mrs. Monica Kapoor, the school coordinator, Dr. Aditya, other dignitaries, and of course, dear parents and students. This comes from a heart of a parent, of an ex-principal, of an educationist. Parents are such an integral part of the student's growth. The world would be so incomplete without parents. So I think a very big round of applause for all the parents, teachers who are our second parents, and all the gurus in any capacity, and of course, dear students. I always like to have a very interactive session. So I know you must be in your pajamas or in t-shirts, however you are. This is who you are. So if you do not really mind, I would love to see your beautiful faces, and that will make me feel more like being in an offline session. I would love you to be interacting with us in between, and I would also be putting up a few questions, trying to know you better, trying to tell you how you can be choosing the best fit stream career, and also how you can make it viable. So come on, let me see who are the volunteers who switch on the camera. I'm changing my screen and I'm still not seeing a lot. Come on, come on.
All of you need to get on with your cameras.
Yeah,
And as a
just
matter
for
of
a
fact,
minute. Yeah, just
as
for
a
a minute.
matter of fact, guys, it is, I think, for the first time that I ensured that the school allows you to have open mics. So please use it as an opportunity. You have somebody who can actually answer all your questions, all your queries, is there to actually guide you. What is the best fit for you? Because I see I get at least in the last 10 days, I've had 3 parents walking across and saying, yeah, we can't make up our minds. We have filled up the forms, opting for particular subject combinations, but we're not sure our kid can handle it. Therefore, this is the actual opportunity, and that is actually why we thought of actually putting up this session for all of you. So please use it as an opportunity, all of you, if you have any kind of a question, because I come across people coming and asking, I want to get into extreme, but I really don't know what should I be opting for. Will or should I actually be requiring maths or not? Okay, Arnav, that's a particular question. We'll answer that one by one. First, let's have the general session. But in the
Okay.
meanwhile,
Yeah.
as Dr. Kavita requested, can we have, please, all of you, if not all,
At least
I
a
think
few
some
bright
of you get up
faces.
into your
Oh,
cameras
thank you
and
so
be more
much,
interactive.
Ms. Chopra. Thank you. I do not know your first name. Thank you, Devina. See your beautiful faces. You inspire me. Thank you, Mrs. Arora. Okay. That is so nice. That is so nice. And all the others. And all the others. Okay. So we'll start with the first basic question. The coordinator at our end is Mr. Ayush. Mr. Ayush, whoever wants to ask a question, I would please request you to put the spotlight on that particular student or parent. So I would like to ask, what is that single most important factor that has made you choose your stream? How many people up with answers, Ayushji?
Guys, all of you have already chosen and filled up your forms for the preference of the
Yeah,
streams.
yeah, the single most
So
important
what has made you
factor.
select that stream? Why have you opted for science, or why have you opted for commerce? Why have you opted for commerce without maths? Why don't you come up and say, this is the reason that I have opted for it?
Even the parents can share the answers, please. Why did they think that that was the best stream to be, shortlisted? Because see, if we make the interaction quick, maximum delivery of the subject matter can be given to you. But I need to know your mindsets. Do we have anyone? Oh my God. Yes, yes. Mrs. Arora, please. Can you unmute yourself, Mrs. Arora?
Yes.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
so much. Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
We actually, we have no clue, to be really honest with you. And we had, we just saw the stream, and according to our son's, his ability with his strengths that we knew. So we asked him to do it. Not that, he had a ready choice, because it was very confusing. We really, for the first time, when you get into all this, see, our time was a little bit different. We didn't have so much of exposure, so much of, all these things are floating around the as education is concerned. So, ma'am, we just asked him, you fill in maths, you fill in science, because these are the criteria where it's like a heavy weight when it comes to Indian education. Because if you do not, a boy doesn't have this, means that he's not going to be nothing. And it's truly, that is what we thought. And I don't know whether we are thinking right, because we are not really guided in a way. And we really didn't know. So we made him to, come on, if you don't want, you have to take maths, you have to take science, you have to take this. Now, we don't know whether our son wants to do it or not, but we put pressure on him. But now I'm telling him, I said, you do whatever you want, but do it properly. And this is a platform where you can guide us whether we have done the right thing and how to guide our son. He's sitting here with me and also he's listening so that he would also be, aware of things that are there, and he could be guided in the way that comes in from people who are the experts. We are the parents. Will always be there for them, guiding them, pushing them, making them do the right thing, but they need guidance. And this is a platform where we will listen to you and get to know what he should be doing. He's also listening. So then we would, ma'am, I think we would decide.
Thank you, Mrs. Arora. I would now like, what you have said is absolutely correct. This is exactly what happens in most of the families. And I would like one or two students to please come up with why they chose or they were allowed to choose what they chose. Mrs. Monica, if you could just prompt 2 or 3 students to come up with an answer. Or if Dr.
Yeah.
Aditya, you could help us. Yeah, just
Yeah,
one or two.
Devina? Is Devina here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Devina. Could you share
Ma'am,
something?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I chose the specific stream because I want to pursue my passion in astrophysics.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Somebody else, please.
Guys, you have an opportunity of an open mic. Why don't you talk?
See, don't take me as a former principal, as an educationist. I am as fun as you guys are. So come up.
Yeah, what
Nishta,
about
can we hear?
Diksha? Diksha is here. Diksha?
Ma'am, we have Nishta who was talking and we have Jivesh who's raised his hand.
Yes,
ma'am.
Can you just put the spotlight on Devesh? Devesh, are you here to
Jivesh.
help us?
Jivesh,
sorry,
please
come again.
talk. Jivesh, please talk. Jivansh, I think, I'm sorry, I read the name wrong.
Jivansh, are you there with us? No. Okay. There is Saurabh who would like to say something. Can you put the spotlight?
Diksha was a bit confused between which stream she should take, whether she should go for medical and whether she should go for engineering, because at times she loves the medical field. She has interest in bio, and at times she tells me that I want to make a mosquito through with a camera and whatnot related to robotics. So if you can just help her out in this.
All right. All right. So I'll just give a very brief outlay. What happens is, usually the way that we choose our stream is either because of the parents' influence, because of the peer influence, because of, things like, I think Mr. Chopra wants to say something once again. Chopra ji, do you want to say again?
No, ma'am, I was just listening.
Okay, because your hand was up. Okay, fine. Yeah. So these are the two most important factors. So the parents' influence, the friends, the peer group, and the second being your role models. So for example, you think that Sachin is your role model for any reason. We're not going why, whether because he's earned a lot of money, because he's earned a lot of fame, because he's made India proud on the international platform, or whatever the reason may be. This is the second most important reason. But I would like to tell you that there are certain practical reasons that you must consider. Number one, ask yourself, how many of you can do a particular thing day in and day out? So if you can do a thing day in and day out, that means अगर रात को आपके पास किसी का call आ जाता है that hello, I want a help in this. I'm not saying every day. Will you happily take the call? Or will that make you feel, oh my God, he asked me to get up at night. What makes him do that? So there's this particular, I would say, hoarding that you must have seen in the Kant area, which says, do you have it in you? For the forces, they have this particular hoarding and this particular line. So my first question is, do you have it in you for whatever you choose to be? This is the first practical thing that is required to be considered. So when we say, do you have it in you, doesn't just mean the IQ. So that's just not your intelligence quotient. It is also your ability. It is also your attitude. It is also how you think that can promote you in terms of your economic betterment, your life, and the ways you want to contribute to your society, to the world, to India, wherever. So if these 2-3 factors can be answered, you will be very close to where you are. So 1, do you have it in you? 2, does it take you to a milestone where you have what you're looking forward to in terms of the economic benefit? Because we pursue hobbies and we pursue careers. What is the difference between a hobby and a career? Hobby may be taken up as a full-time career, may not be taken up. But a career is essentially taken up to earn money. Do you all agree?
Correct.
Yes, right? So if you are choosing a career that makes you feel happy, but doesn't give you the kind of economic return, you will feel dissatisfied sooner or later, especially in today's materialistic world. At our times, things were very different. But today's time, I'm sorry to say, but it is so, are very different. Secondly, if you think money doesn't really bother you as much, fair enough, then you have a free hand to choose anything that really inspires you. There are people like this. We have people like this, teachers being one of that profession, doctors being one of that profession, especially doctors, when I say, and I mean in government jobs, they do not really earn a lot, but they are giving their bit, right? Then we have the forces. They do not earn handsome, but their main concern is not making money as much as it is to serve their nation. So 2 things. One is passion. The other is the economic front. Passion satisfied, tick 1. That is your step 1. Money front satisfied, tick 2. Money front divided further into 2. Money front important to you, tick 1. Money front not important to you, tick 2. Now comes the reality check. You love to be a doctor, whether you want to be a private practitioner, you want to be associated with the big hospitals, or you want to be a government doctor. Can you study for good 7.5 years? Today, just doing an MBBS doesn't take you anywhere. This is time of super specialty. Even a physician, you would always prefer to go to an MD, not to a simple MBBS doctor, right? So the question is, are you ready to put in those many years? Number 2, are you ready to put in those many hours? Yes. So your reality check 3, tick. That means you are aware of what you want to do and what it takes you to reach there. I hope everybody's clear on this. 4th zone, a little tricky one. Do you and your parents, are you on the common page? Do you have common grounds? Do you think your family is well-to-do, doesn't need that kind of support from you? Or do you think you need to really focus on that? In that case, you can sometimes choose a balance between your career and between your passion. Lot of careers today allow to pursue a second part-time career. I hope I'm clear with everyone till here. Okay. Now comes the question. Can we take a simple raising of hands quiz, Ayush, where I want to know How many of you think you have chosen your stream to earn a lot of money? And please let me tell you, come over this, ke paise kamane achhi baat nahi hai. No, it's not like that. It's the means that you earn money with is what is important. If the means that you have employed and you're earning money with, and you're putting that money to correct use, there absolutely is no issue. Do not take it as a block. Ambani has earned a lot of money. Does anybody have a problem with him? Why? Because he's sort of, apart from the privatization part, he's done a lot of good for the country. If I take the example of the hospital like Medanta, so Dr. Trehan, everybody knows. Does anybody have a problem that he's earning money? Not really, because he's giving good services. I'm not saying perfect services, mind you. I'm saying good services. So when we are comparing to the other hospitals, we find that the services he's giving, I have experienced them myself. Definitely, they are par excellent in whatever we are getting today. So please do not hesitate in earning money. Remember, the means should be right. The end should be right. You're using it for the right purpose and you're earning it through the right means. Fair enough? Okay. So now we come to the other parameters that you should take care in how to choose your careers. Your abilities. So there are largely 8 different types of abilities. Can we have the slide on? Now, these 8 different types of abilities will tell you whether you're meant for this career or not. So these abilities range from your numeric ability, so we call that numeracy, to your speaking abilities that we call as your verbal abilities, your leadership, your spatial ability, and so many other abilities, your mechanical abilities. So mechanical ability you do need for things that are to do with machines. So if you want to become a mechanical engineer, you cannot be one who doesn't have a good hand at the machinery or understanding of machinery or handling of machinery. If you want to be a doctor, you need to be a doctor not just because you think you want to serve patients or you want to sort of figure out what element, how, but you also need to see if you're going into the surgery segment or even as a normal doctor, you cannot have a fear of blood, a fear of some kind of injury or bruise or any deformity that makes your heart miss a beat. So are you that strong? Yes. The question comes, if you have a love for biology, why can you essentially just be a doctor? Why can't you get into other fields? So if you have a love for biology, just do not emphasize on the fact of becoming a doctor. Also check on to the other fields that you can pursue. If you want to be an engineer, do not say that you want to stick to mechanical, chemical, electrical, electronic. No, there are many other fields. If you want to move into civil services, you will have to study hard. If you think you want to get into something like non-medical streams where maths is important, like actuarial sciences, like probably, things like stats, you have no issues. So the thing is not biology equals a doctor. No, it doesn't happen like that. Biology equals a doctor when you're ready to give in those 7 years, when you're ready to task, when you're ready to give away nights, when you're ready to work for those sometimes 36 hours. If all this makes you feel happy, this is your true calling. So Ayush, can we have the first slide? So when we talk about numerical ability is the ability to handle numbers and data. People like accountants, use this ability. People like data analysts use this ability. We have the logical ability. Logical ability is required practically in everything. But when we talk of things like engineering, we need to have the logical ability. When we need to be a physicist, we need to have the logical ability. When we talk of verbal ability, the ability to articulate well, everybody has verbal skills. It's not that we cannot articulate. The question is when we really need to articulate well. So leaders, CEOs, company secretaries, lawyers, all these are people who need a high percentage of verbal ability. Even a doctor needs verbal ability. It's not that he or she doesn't, but not to that extent. Then we have the clerical and organizing skills. So the clerical and organizing skills doesn't mean then you need to do a clerical job. No, it means when you can handle data, you can handle the the requisite of a particular job in a very structured manner. So you will be seeing a lot of you like to structure things. So somebody who is very good with numerical ability and structural abilities is somebody who can be very good at learning the computer languages. Then you have the spatial and visualization ability. So the spatial ability is to do anything with space. So when you can visualize a lot of things in the space. So an architect needs the spatial and visualization ability. Somebody to do with space, to do with aeronautical sciences, needs spatial and visualization ability. Somebody to do with creative arts needs to be very high on spatial and visualization ability. Leadership and decision-making skills. Again, I would like to inform you that verbal ability and the clubbing of leadership and decision-making skills makes you an excellent leader. If we talk of a teacher, a verbal ability is equally important, but leadership and decision-making may be lesser, but verbal ability cannot be sort of anyway ignored. If we talk of a leader, sometimes there are certain leaders who are not very good with their oratory skills, but they are very good with their decision-making skills. So we can manage. So this is the kind of combination that really matters on what particular stream or what particular career path you need to select. Then we have the social and cooperation skills. So let's say if you are an HR manager and your social and cooperation skills are not good, you will not be able to be an excellent HR manager. You want to be a diplomat. So your social skills, your verbal ability, your leadership and decision, all three are important. Maybe your numerical ability is not as good, but if you want to be into Indian Foreign Service, serve as a diplomat, these three skills will really help you shine apart. Let's come to mechanical abilities. Anything to do with machines do need to be good with your mechanical abilities. So we have a lot of standardized psychometric tests and testing tools which help us how we can figure out which are the ones where we are high in, which are the ones we are average in, and which are the ones where we need to become better. In case you want to become, let's say, a mathematician for any reason, well, we're not challenging why do you want to become. You have a lot of interest in it, but your numerical ability is on the lower side. So what should you be doing? Dr. Aditya, I have this noise coming from some end. If everybody could be on mute, please. Can Mr. Ayush help us? Yeah. So I was wanting an answer. Can you just show me the main screen, Ayush? So I was wanting the answer from any one of you. If you want to become a mathematician and your numerical ability is not very good, what do you think you should be doing? Is there anyone who would like to answer? Simple. Work on your numerical ability. It's as simple as that. So now we have things like career motivators. So when we were talking of skills and abilities, this will decide what stream you should be taking or selecting. Because remember, the competition will be with people who are higher on the ability. So if you are competing for a particular stream, for a particular entrance, for a particular job interview, for a particular written test for job, for a group discussion, you will have to compete with these people who are good on these abilities. And definitely, we understand people with the best abilities will be chosen by a particular employer, whether it is an MNC, whether it is a government, whether it is a public sector undertaking, or it is any private entrepreneur or recruiter. So can we move on to the next slide? Now the question comes, I have made check 1 on my skills and abilities. I take my check 2 on my career interest types, whether I have creative and artistic abilities, whether I'm good with social abilities, whether I have investigative abilities. So for investigation, we know the number one, is being a detective. But that is an old school thought. If you want to become a data analyst, you also need to have investigative abilities apart from your numeric abilities, apart from your computing abilities, because there you need to have the hunger to investigate about the data you have received and why you have received. So you will get the numbers from the data miners, but you will also need to see whether you have that hunger to investigate that those numbers came up because of X reason. Do those reasons make sense to you? So you also need to have this kind of an edge. Enterprising, of course, you all know, are entrepreneurs, people who like to start business, people who like to initiate, people who like to take the risk. They are all entrepreneurs. You have enterprising abilities. You must have seen, even in a class, there may be students who would like to be volunteers, who would like to lead. That indicates to us that they have enterprising abilities. Then there are people who like to work with things. So we call them under the realistic interest type. They like to work with plants, with things that can be physically touched. Then we have the conventional type of career interest. This is more to do with a sort of structure, a fixed structure, to do with numbers, to do with data, which is more or less static. It doesn't keep changing every now and then. We have the career motivators. So what happens in a motivator? There are two types of motivation. One is intrinsic and the other is extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is what comes from within. Extrinsic is what comes from the outer factors. So when we talk of things like intrinsic motivation, hunger is intrinsic motivation. You're feeling hungry, you would like to go and check the fridge. Extrinsic motivation is something like, okay, your parents say that if you get or if you score good marks, you can go to play for a longer time. play on your PS5, go for a party. These are all where the goal that you have achieved or can achieve or should achieve based on factors that don't come within you. You are very passionate to sing. You may not have a nice voice, but that need comes from within. Nobody is telling you that, okay, if you're winning a Grammy, we'll invest in you as a singer. No, that is extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic is when you're doing it. A lot of people who are on this Indian talent shows or American talent shows, they have this intrinsic motivation to showcase their talent. Nobody's telling them that it is only and only when you win what will make a difference. Of course, one motivation is also that they're coming on the stage and the world is seeing them. But the innate desire to showcase their talent is coming from within. So similarly, we have a lot of factors that motivate us to choose a particular career. So I'll give you a real life example. I often quote this example. They were two students. I mean, of course, they're alive. So at that time when they were students, today they're doctors, from the same institute, doing the same kind of specialization under the same lecturers, same pattern of study, similar IQ. Same, I don't say, because one could be on maybe 120 and the other could be on 121. So I can't use the word same, but similar. What happens is both of them dissatisfied. Question is why? One, well placed in a very good, let's say, chain of hospitals. The other, placed into a very well government hospital, let's say something like AIIMS. Who would not like to be selected or recruited in AIIMS? Do you think anyone? Honestly, no one. Still both dissatisfied. Would anybody like to answer this? Ayush, can you please check if we have some hands raised? Aditya, I need people to interact with me. Come on, nobody is giving you marks on this. You're not passing. Nobody's going to take the stream from you. Come on, I need to see you guys. Aditya, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Guys, the whole effort of actually making you being able to talk at any point of time doesn't seem to be working. I thought
All right.
if you had the
Okay.
opportunity of actually talking in at any point of time, you would avail it.
I think they've gotten used to the online mode so much that they think it's good to be like that. Anyways, so Madam Monica, would you like to guess why did it happen?
Even I'm thinking.
Mrs. Arora and Mr. Chopra, you were there for us. Any guesses? Any wild guesses? Yeah, Mrs. Chopra. Okay, yeah, she's
Maybe
Miss
because of-
Chopra.
Maybe because of work pressure, and maybe when they were choosing their career, that time they thought that, okay, I like this subject, so I can choose this career. And after they got into the jobs, the work pressure and the workload, they thought that then they were not that comfortable, that they don't have the inner motivation or the hunger for to pursue their career
Okay,
in the same field. They would
great,
have
great.
better in
Thank you
some
so
other
much.
field.
Thank you so much for attempting. Part one is correct. You know that they are, yeah, I think somebody else. No, okay, yeah. So the fact is that it's not like that they were not ready to give in that kind of working hours. One went into a government hospital who wanted to make a lot of money. Government hospital, no money. One went into a very good private hospital where you have targets, unfortunately, where there is a lot of grilling on how many tests you need your patients to undergo. And this particular one did not want to earn money, but wanted to serve the public in its truest sense. So this particular person moved out, established his own clinic in the hometown where he was, and happily practiced ever after. And the one who was in the government service moved on to a private segment, and he was very happy there. So it's just not the fact that they did not have the ability and skills. They did have the ability and skills. Their IQ was same. The lecturers were same. The institute was same. The course study was same. Everything was same. And they were ready to give in those long hours, to be honest. But the career motivator, what motivated them to choose the career was unknown to them. Or even if it was known to them, probably they did not realize that it's going to affect them as much. So that's how it is. So we will share the screen with you for the career motivators. First, independence. A lot of people want a lot of independence. घर पे भी छोटी छोटी बातों पे लड़ाई होती है. मम्मी आपने ज्यादा मेरी छोटी बहन को इंडिपेंडेंस दे दी, मुझे तो आपने नहीं दिया था. She has a mobile now and I don't have a mobile. So this is need for independence. But this is an example which you can relate to. So the independence of using a Facebook at an early age and at an age where you people, your elder siblings may not have been allowed is something different. So independence is, this is just a small example where you can relate. Independence is the way you would like to do your own work in your own style. So if the independence factor is very high for you, you must be in the leading positions. You must be an entrepreneur. I do not say that you will not work under anyone, because to become an entrepreneur or to become a head, you need to work under someone, of course. But if your need of independence is high, aim for a career where lifelong you do not need to work under people. You may be working in a team, but not under people. Working in a team is absolutely fine. Second is continuous learning. What is continuous learning? Continuous learning is where you need to keep understanding, researching. So for me, when I was a teacher, when I was a principal, I was a continuous learner. I continuously learned the new things happening in my subject, happening in psychology, happening in administration, happening in the national education policies, happening at the CCE level, happening in assessments all over the world, etc. So this is something that kicks me. It gives me that kick. There are people who don't want to really have a lot of continuous learning. I will say that in today's time, there is hardly anything where you don't need to learn, but continuous literally means every now and then, maybe even every day, maybe even every 1 hour. So people like accountants, they don't need to really continuously learn. They've got their facts right. They know how to do that. With the little changes here and there that are announced by the government or the relevant bodies, they learn that or they upskill themselves and they keep moving. For people who are into, I would say, any field of IT, they need to be continuous learners. The technology really gets obsolete very fast. So if you're someone who doesn't like upgrading yourself so quickly, should not enter into a lot of IT influenced or IT dependent careers. Structured work environment. There are people who like things to be structured. They do not want things to be non-structured. So when I talk of a doctor is largely working in a structured work environment. You have your protocol 1, you have your protocol 2, 3. So it's the patient's problem may be different, but the first line of action is to take a physical medical examination, to get a few tests done, to get your blood works done, to move ahead with the kind of team, and after that, giving a prescription, certain structure of medicines to be followed, follow up, and after that, how do you go about in case the disease is not settled? Then you go in for level 2 of diagnostic tests. So this is a structured work environment. Social service. People like journalists, they are investigative by nature, but they like to serve the public. People like teachers, they like to do social service. So though they are good with their skills, their oratory skills, their continuous learning, pretty much a structured work environment, pretty much independent, because though they have to report to their seniors, but still they have the independence to make their lesson plans, to get on with the teaching learning transaction that they want. But the core that they have is, that is social service. They want to serve the society through the medium of creating great students. Creativity. Anything to do with any sort of creation. So interior designing, one of the most, I would say, sought after, lot of money, lot of creativity. We have a lot of tools like the CAD drawings, other softwares. All these help us in enhancing the creativity level. Their main aim is not to do social service. Their main aim is to bring the creativity in the forefront. Adventure. People like, you may say, even your physical education teachers have this trait pretty much high in them. They are adventurous by nature. They want to explore different sports. So, of course, people into bungee jumping, their instructors, I think their adventure scale is going to be really high. High-paced environment. People who love challenges, people who love to deliver in a high-paced environment. There are multiple factors going on. So maybe there are 10 different teams working. And so, for example, Mr. Ayush is hosting a webinar. He has to work in a high-paced environment. There would be chats, there would be instructions from my side. He has to coordinate with other departments. So all such kind of things. A company secretary has to work in a high-paced environment. Even scientists who are on the launching side, not on the research side, need to work on high-paced environments. People who are into things like marketing, they need to work in a high-paced environment. So they have targets, they have a lot of challenges. So it's not that they'll be settled like an accountant and working in their nice, sweet space. No, it's not like that. They have to be on their toes. So these are a few career motivator types, Of course, as I said to you, that money being one most important. Also, the kind of number of hours you want to give. Do you want a sitting job? Do you want a job that keeps you agile and active? So if you're an engineer, you're a civil engineer, you have to be agile. So if you're into mechatronics, let's say, you don't need to be agile. You can quite comfortably be sitting on a chair and do your work, your research work. So these kind of things also make a lot of difference. You have to think very deeply whether these are your motivators or these are not your motivators. So moving on to the next slide. Your school offers you a few combination of subjects. So we have, we can take commerce first, all right? So with commerce, we have with maths and with marketing. Science, we have non-med, med. Non-med, we have PCM with engineer drawing, PCM with computer sciences. Medical, we have PCB with economics and PCB with mathematics. Can we have the further slides, please? So for PCB, if I take, let's start the way it is, medical. So for PCB, you have mainstream medicine. So like an MBBS doctor doing your MD after that, you can choose medicine or surgery. Ayush is now coming into a lot of, I would say, a limelight. It is being promoted by the government of India in streams like Ayurveda, homeopathy, Unani, Siddha, etc. Don't think that homeopathy doctors don't make as much of money. They do make, but yes, you really need to be good with that. We have bachelors of science in any stream that you would like to specialize into physics, into chemistry, into biology, etc. You have allied health sciences where you can get into different kind of combinations. You have paramedical where we help the mainstream doctors. You have Bachelor of Engineering, which comes into the chemistry and biology of PCB. So we are not talking of the Bachelor of Engineering of non-med, where maths is compulsory, or in certain places computer science is compulsory. We are simply talking of engineering, where engineering and biology, engineering and chemistry, these have been integrated into different courses. So most of you would aspire to be, of course, doctors. I do appreciate that. Some of you who do not have the NEET scores to your choice can look for things like BDS, so that is dental sciences, can look for Ayush, can look for paramedical, can look for allied health science. So to give you a few examples of paramedical, we can talk of the ECG technicians, the dialysis technicians, etc. For the allied health services, things like today, this is really up and happening not only in India, but this stream is emerging worldwide very well. So we talk of Bachelor of Occupational Therapy. So when we talk of occupational therapy here, it is not the occupation in terms of the work, but it is anything to do with your daily life, as small as bathing, because that keeps you occupied. So the root word is that keeps you occupied, to things genuinely like your occupation. So it also gets into rehab therapies. It gets into people who are facing the occupational hazards and try to look into that. People who have gotten their surgeries or are disabled. So to help all of them resume as much of a normal life they can. So this is something which is really coming up very well. You have the line of optometry. You have a lot of lines like science physician assistants, and you can also go into various other fields like microbiology, if biology is something that is really required out of you. You can get into biochemistry, biosciences, home science, horticulture, microbiology, zoology, biochemical, bioengineering, bioinformatics, biomedical, biotechnology, biotechnology, cancer genetics. So that is a subspecialization where how we play with genetics to see that cancer doesn't settle in, or if it's settled in, how to sort of put it right. We have biotechnology, genetic, again, it is to do with genetics. These are coming up very well. These streams are really coming up. Biotechnology, regenerative medicine, these are also some things which are coming up very well. So when we talk of PCB, these are certain things that you can really figure out how to be going on. Also for paramedical, I would like to say that you can, apart from being an occupational therapist, you can get into optometry, you can become a vet. You can also check into things like, where you help the physicians in being the technicians, and a lot of other fields that really sort of motivate you to do something very well. We also will talk of things like diploma in opto, diploma in bioinformatics, or even degrees, and maybe also probably there are certain diplomas. If you do not want to get into details or degrees, you can probably get into diplomas. One very important field that I am seeing and gives you a lot of money is bachelor's in physiotherapy. This also comes under allied health science. And as you know that physiotherapists are really required a lot, because in today's time we have sedentary lifestyles and a lot of problems are happening because of this lifestyle. So of course, you can also get into pharmacy if you're very happy working with medicines, administration, making medicines, synthesizing drugs. And if you have a pharmaceutical shop, or if your dad is into some pharmaceutical company, this is something that can really help you. So these were a few allied health sciences. So to sum it up, in PCB, you can go into the mainstream. So allopathy, Ayush, you can get into BDS, you can get into physiotherapy, and paramedical, you can get into occupational physiotherapy, opta, veterinary, all these things. Then we move on to your regular Bachelor of Sciences, which you can get into being a physicist. You need to be doing your post-graduation and your doctorate into physics. If you want to pursue anything into chemistry, you need to again take the route of pure science of chemistry and biology. If you want to become lecturers, of course, you will again need to pursue pure streams of PC and B. Bachelor of Engineering, as I said to you, this is not the one which moves in as your mathematics engineering. This is not a non-medical engineering, but this is a chemistry and biology integrated engineering. So can we have the next slide, please? We have the PCM combination.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Guys, in case you have any questions pertaining to the specialization that is being talked of, please feel free to ask in between, because
they can do that, and they can also put it in the chat box, because I'm seeing we just have practically 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so
so
they
in
can
case you
put it
have
in
a
the
doubt
chat
or a
box
question,
also.
please ask when the relative stream is being talked about, because
Absolutely.
later you may lose out on what I had to ask. So we have Ishan Singh wanting to ask something. Ishan, please go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask that, like, I want to choose computer science, but some people are recommending to choose ED because it would be relatively easier now, because they're saying anyway I will have to learn it later. In the college, in the first year, they teach us the languages. So they are saying that for now, because in after 12th there will be JEE exam as well. So for that preparation, it would be easier if I choose ED relatively now. So what should I choose now between
I would like to know, Bacha, I would like to know, you want to choose computers, am I right? This is what you said?
Yes, no.
Okay, the question is, what do you aspire to be?
Ma'am, I want
engineering or computer engineering or something else.
Like I want to become a coder. Like I have to specifically go into the coding, like software engineering.
Then must take computers.
Yeah, ED has no role in that. So forget ED in that case.
Totally. Don't waste your time on that, because for most of the prestigious BTech, etc., IT, BEIT, you have to have CS with you at your +2 level. CS and mathematics, 2 of them.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most
Anybody
welcome.
else has a question? Please feel free. Devina, please carry on.
Yes, sir. So I had chosen PCMB as a stream because I want to pursue my career in astrophysics. So I was wondering if it was the right choice.
So I understand you have taken biology just to open up other options. Is that the main reason?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So why don't you, if you want to be an astrophysicist, why don't you take PCM and computer science?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a little bit confused between those two.
Dr. Aditya, I would love
Hey, Devina,
to.
any day you should opt for CS
Yeah.
as the number one.
Yeah, yeah, because in astrophysicist, if she needs to be really good with the computer skills also.
Precisely.
Unless
And
and
how would bio
until,
help?
yeah, unless and until she is not very sure on what she wants to do, and so she's thinking that, okay, I might try on engineering, and if not, I'll go to the biology line. But biology, beta, क्या करोगे? I mean, PCM आपके लिए बहुत सारी lines खोल देता है. Let's say, God forbid, you do not get into astrophysics, there are a lot of lines of engineering that you can really take in after doing PCM. So,
Okay, thank you,
yeah,
ma'am.
if you want, you can get back to us, and on the personal chat, we can contact you back, and maybe we can figure out better things for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Anybody else has a question, guys? Anybody who's wanting to opt for PCMB or PCM computer sciences and has a question? No.
All right.
Yeah. Let's.
So, are we good to go on the next segment?
Yep.
All right. So when we talk of PCM, I think this is the field, or this is the stream which has the maximum options. I at times really go go berserk when I check on the app options, especially when I check on the specializations that are being offered in our foreign countries also. It's huge. It's huge. So when we talk of the major streams are electrical, electronics, mechanical, computer science, chemistry. We have BTech, we have bachelor's in engineering, we have architecture and planning. We have, of course, NDA, so National Defense Academy, which allows us as a PCM student to choose any one of the defense services. Because you have to have physics, chemistry, and maths. It's just army where you don't need mathematics. Rest, they really want you to be there. With PCM, you can really go into things like advanced materials and nanotechnology, aeronautical, aerospace. So aeronautical and aerospace, there's a lot of confusion. Aeronautical, aerospace is to do with everything inside and outside, and aeronautical is specifically to do with inside. We have agriculture, which I think not many of you would really like to go in. Students from, I would say, tier 2 cities really like to take in agriculture because they have their lands and all. Also, what I see is that a lot of students get confused between electrical and electronics. So electrical is to do with everything to do with electricity. So whether it is probably trying to manage, generate, distribute, everything. Electronics is a part of electrical engineering, not really a part, but it's quite of overlapping, which is to do with things like the smaller parts, the chips, etc., that go into the working of the electronic devices. So we need electricity to back up the electronic devices, even if we call that we have, sort of transform the energy from a literal power electricity to a battery sort of power giving device. Both will come under electrical, but electronics will be when that, that phone. Okay, so let's say we have this mobile phone. So electrical is where it's being supplied electricity, whether or the power supply in the form of direct electricity or the battery backup. And electronics is where we are running into the chips and circuits, which help in, the interpretation of the signals and manipulation of the data. So do not really get pretty confused in it, because that there is a lot of confusion I see. So we have things like artificial intelligence. Anybody who wants to go into AI must choose C++, or whatever computer sciences language you have. We have automobiles, we have ceramic, we have chemical science, technology. We have a lot of things to do with computers and IT. We also have specializations in engineering, where we are talking about sustainable development and environmental sciences. A lot of the students love gaming, so game designing goes behind that, graphics goes behind that, AI people go behind that, augmented reality, all these things. Specifically to talk of streams which stem out from information technology, you have the software development, you have the anything to do with IT development, you have the hardware development, you have the Internet of Things, you have mechatronics. All these are part of IT. So mechatronics is a part of mechanical and electronics. And there's hardly anything which is moving on without knowledge of computers or with the help of computers. So I would definitely say, whether you take mainstream as C++ or not, but please be thorough with your computer skills. And definitely you've got to check if the final career that you want to go ahead with, if it requires computer science, you must take computer science at +2 level. So it's almost to do everything with computer sciences, BTech and BE. Bachelor of Technology also has things like design and manufacturing. You have a lot of EV vehicles coming up, so things to do with that. Automobile industry, of course, is highly dependent on mechanical engineering. Machines, any type of machines, automation and artificial intelligence, robotics. These 3-4 are very, very upcoming fields. And the pace is really fast. The pace is really fast. You have a lot of things like in Bachelors of Technology. Why I'm speaking so much about technology is because a lot of you are interested into that. So we have things like Android application majors, machine learning, big data, blockchain, business analytics, cloud computing, biometrics, cybersecurity, data analysis, full stack and DevOps. DevOps is development and operations put together. Web development, game design, health data or health informatics, network and security, robotic processes. Robotics in itself is one complete field. Software testing, methodology, etc. These are really very, very upcoming lines, and you can sort of not ignore them. So let's move on to the commerce. We just have.
We have a question, Dr. Kavita.
Yes, please.
We have somebody who's wanting to get into for a commercial pilot option.
Okay.
So can we address that for her?
Yeah, commercial pilot, you essentially need to do in PCM. You cannot do without it. Yeah, you cannot do without it. So if you're planning to take a biology, please don't do that. I would rather say put all your efforts for physics and chemistry, because that is something which is really going to put you apart. Do you think we should move on to commerce? Because I guess you people are just going to allow me another 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think let's get on to commerce.
Yeah, and I think we will have to ask for an extension of at least 5 minutes for humanities.
No, that's not a problem.
Yeah, though
that's always there. That's always there with you.
Before we jump on to commerce, anybody has a question on the PCM and the engineering and that stream, please ask now, because right now it will be addressed in you have fresh questions in your mind.
What question you want to ask?
Yep.
Video.
I have a question. As for my son who has, who has no direction right now, he doesn't know what to actually go into. He's got various options, and some options I see here, which I've been telling him about NDA.
Mhm.
So I would really like, ma'am, if you could just throw some light on what he needs to get prepared. Of course, you have told us, but if he's going for NDA, what is it that we need to, guide him, push him into that direction, or probably make him, that he gets passionate about it? Because see, any career has to have a passion for it before he pursues it. So today I just saw this on the screen, this NDA, because we've been talking for for the last few weeks, we've been talking about NDA. And he's also been talking about computer sciences, like for art. He likes computers and all that, as you said, all the children do, but artificial intelligence and all that stuff. So if you could throw some light on this, particularly on these two things, how do we go about it?
So what I'll say is, you said one is NDA and the second is computer science. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am, like artificial intelligence, like,
Yeah,
all
yeah. That
Yeah.
at +2 level, he will have to opt for computer science. He has to definitely see, number one, he should go for a science stream. I hope he's taken science.
Yes, ma'am, he
Yes.
has.
Yes. And he should go for a combination of PCM plus and C++. Are they offering C++ with the PCM? Dr. Aditya?
Yeah, computer science is always, yes, an option.
Yes. So you must opt for both to see where you really enjoy what. Computer science at +2 will open all options for you in your computer science, BE, BTech, any specialization. And NDA, you definitely need physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So you will have to prepare for these 4 subjects apart from English, which is of course a compulsory thing. And for NDA Bacha, I would definitely say that, I mean, you won't maybe get that kind of money that you might get out of AI, because AI has a lot of scope in India and foreign both. So if that is one of your major factors, I don't know whether you'd really enjoy being into NDA, but yes, that is something. If you're fascinated with the forces in any manner, matlab, nothing beyond that. Nothing beyond that. You really have a very different kind of life there. I have a lot of my friends who are into forces, but they're actually two very different type. When we talk of computer sciences, lot of streams, further specializations you can take up, where computer sciences is also used under defense. So if you want to integrate your passion for both, you can also be doing that. But if you want to really earn a lot of money, then yeah, then NDA is not the place for you. Then you got to get into AI or anything to do with computer sciences. But as long as subject is related, you have to take a combination of PCM plus C++, or computer sciences, whatever is being offered there in your school.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Most welcome. Can we move on to commerce, please?
Yep.
Okay. So commerce is for people who love numbers, who love data in a different style. When we talk of data analysis, it's more to do of the logical skill. It's more to do of, a number skill. But when we talk of something like cold numbers, then we really say that you're made for commerce. It's not that you cannot get into data analysis after commerce, but it's more of, I would say, cold numbers, because numbers don't really excite me. I find them very cold, but it's very important for you to be good at that, because without numbers, without the commerce, we actually don't land up anywhere. So people like me really need support of people who are from commerce. Of course, the most sought after lines in commerce is the chartered accountancy, the cost accountants, the finance people. So whether they're financial analysts or whether they pursue their specialization in finance at their management level, Of course, we have banking, we have insurance, we have tax, we have finance managers, we have auditors, stockbrokers. The way to go up with commerce is you do your BCom honors, which opens everything for you at the PG level. Or you can go for, but for BCom honors, do remember, apart from IEP, Delhi University definitely needs a maths to do an honors. Otherwise, it's going to offer you a BCom program. And most of the countries where, in case you want to graduate in commerce in foreign countries, you need maths. So I would definitely suggest that you move on for mathematics. You can do, of course, something like a BCom program, but which has less options. Not a great idea. Put that extra hard work for taking up maths, because essentially you don't need to have a 90 or an 18 maths, but most of the places a 16 maths is very happily accepted. So one is doing your BCom honors and BCom program. Then you can go into BMS, that is Bachelor's of Management Studies. You can go for your BBAs. So your BBA is a general BBA, and there are a lot of specializations in BBAs happening today. So these are largely apart from the ones I've said. So you can really get into that. And you also have certain professional courses like chartered accountant, CPA, company secretaries, chartered financial analysts. So CPA is the certified public accountants, CMA is the certified management accountants, certified financial planners. These are really giving a lot of good remuneration. You are really earning very good after doing these courses. But yes, they are a little on the, I won't say tough though, but you need to put in a little extra hard work. And you need to be really good with your accounts and with your mathematics. That will really take you a long, mile ahead. And of course, business studies and economics, I won't say that you don't require good marks in that, because an overall good percentage will sort of help you in a lot of places. But keeping in mind that DU is now going to really base its merit on CUET, that is the Central University's entrance test. Though there's a lot of controversy going on, but I would just tell you that even if you get good marks in your boards, whether or boards matter or not, getting good marks can only be done if you have a good understanding of the subject, which will definitely help you for your entrance exams also. So please keep that in mind. I was attending one of the conferences where we had the NCRT and the SCRT and the other heads from education department. They are trying to put things in a way where you people are more focused on the love of the subject matter. So just not to get marks, but I would still say love the subject matter, get good marks, you are a winner both ways. So whether they come back to the same policy again, which I don't know, or whether you want to, sort of go for your good entrances, a good hold over your subject matter definitely makes a lot of difference. So we have things like just a very quick maybe a comment on it. You have in commerce things like auditing, taxation, investment management, of course, e-commerce, finance and accounts, foreign trade, financial market, human resources, international finance, marketing, taxes, of course, cost and management accounting, bank management, insurance. You have things like forex management, entrepreneurship, digital marketing, big data analytics, import and exports. Information technology is also becoming one of the specializations for things like BBA. You have IB, that is the international business. And you have the regular streams like marketing, finance, HR, and these kind of things also. So of course, that is a very quick, I would say, commerce sort of a thing. Okay. We would also like to go for stream neutral, streams or careers where whether you're from science or commerce, you can really get on to these things. So we have martial arts, I mean, is something very specific. Martial arts, dance, music, singing, theater is very specific, and the openings are not as much. Unless and until you really excel in it, you could be doing good there. You have a law that you can be doing after any stream. You have integrated law courses, which directly is a 5-year course. Literature, only go into it if you really have love. After literature, you can get into research or get into education. So for philosophy, psychology has a lot of openings, but I would say the remuneration is not as much in India. Journalism, I'm not too happy with journalism in today's time. आवाज नहीं आ रही मुझे. There's some interruption in between, please.
Ashutosh, can we have you on?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, so I'll come back to journalism. So journalism, to be honest, I'm not really happy about, unless and until you want to get into, the written content management, because I know of a lot of people who are working at very high positions in Hindustan Times, Times of India, and ABVP, etc. So what I see is they're losing onto their jobs. It's getting more transferred into, I would say, content writing, which is to do with writing on computers. So I would say if you have good skills in writing, rather opt for that rather than being into direct journalism and reporting. And plus, it is also a job where a lot of risk is involved. So, but that's something up to you. Foreign languages, yes. Mass communication is the larger side and journalism is a subset. Physical education trainers, very specific, not a very, I would say, open stream, but yes, if you want to get into your own gym or something, it's quite lucrative. Animation, computer programming. So we are not talking of the BTech computer programming. We are talking of more or less the general computer programming. Graphic, game, chef courses. So we are talking of more of generalized. And also when we check onto that, we have all sorts of visual arts. Interior designing is not really a part of the visual arts, I would say. It's just for some person who likes doing visual arts, but you need the spatial ability for the same. Then, of course, we have things like the civil services, which any stream, student can opt for. We have things like simple diplomas, 12 months, certifications, diplomas, courses where you can specialize into computers and the, I would say, the analytics and everything, but it will not give you a mileage per se when we are talking of people who are really getting into the mainstream, coming from BTech, coming from BE, especially from renowned institutes or institutes of eminence. You will figure that out, that they'll be very, very well to do with their basics and everything. So yeah, this is a small glance. And would you like to give us more options for stream neutral, or? Okay, you want, yeah. So when we talk of things like interior designing, fashion designing, so all the designing per se, we have our NIFTs, which are the national institutes. They have their own, entrance exam, and you got to crack it for sure. They're very particular onto that. We have things like consulting, where you can specialize into any field and move on to being a consultant after a few years. We have things like, your own enterprises, so where you can get into construction field, become a realtor. So realtor is someone who sells property. So real estate is where it comes from. And yeah, these are quite a bit of the streams which are giving us a lot of revenue nowadays. So yes, I'm open to questions. Dr. Aditya, can you please help me?
Yeah, I just, guys, anybody on the questions for commerce streams? Because of course we had a few messages which I answered, but any questions specific to commerce stream? Because I believe a huge amount of guys have opted for commerce with or without maths. So there should be some kind of a clarity that you would have had, or you are still confused, ki, should I pick this up or not?
I would like to very clearly state, Dr. Aditya, if you can handle maths even with less marks, please do opt for maths. Lot of
Absolutely.
lines get closed when you do not have maths and commerce. Abhi thodi si beta extra mehnat dal lo. It'll pay you a long way.
Exactly, guys.
And
If you can handle maths, even if it is till 70%,
मैं तो
opt
Dr.
for,
Aditya 60 भी बोल रही हूँ. I'm okay with 60 also. At least इनका
take commerce with maths. Don't take
they
commerce with
must.
marketing otherwise.
They
With
must.
maths, your options and avenues and opportunities are much better in terms of what all you can do. You can drop it after 12th. That's still a possibility which is there.
Yeah. It's just for the entrance level in the graduation that you really need to have maths. The rest, most of the lines at grad level do not require maths as the mainstream subject or even as a minor. So that really works. Unless and until you want to take some specialization that requires maths, you will not need maths. You will not need in things like international business and marketing. You will not need maths at all. So if we are good with this, I'll just take you through a few new age careers which are really coming up in a big way. We have things like data scientist. This is really coming up in a big way. Cyber security specialist, which is coming under law. Cyber security is something which is really picking up. We also need technical writers, as I said, content writing. Digital marketing is picking up very well. Image consultant is a stream neutral, and I think people who are in love with psychology or English are the ones who can really get into this. We have things like, professional blogger, but I don't know of it as much as you people would be knowing. There are people who are earning millions, but I don't know really how to do that. And you can, of course, be an ethical hacker. That's a good paying one. And there are things like stem cell research. There are things like, smart building technologist, where you can build smart buildings. We have renewable energy technologists. So, basically technology to be used, how to use renewable energy. And we have medical robotists are people who really work with robots into the medical field. Virtual reality, I think you all know. Genetic engineering, you also know. Digital rehab counselors are counselors who get into people who are addicted to the digital media. It's an upcoming line, but I really don't know how much in India will it take off. I don't have much idea, but yes, it's a very upcoming line. You have things like nanotechnology, we can't miss on that. You have things like neuroscience. You have things like quantum computers, very big computers. I mean, I saw this image of a computer. It looks like a huge chandelier. Biomedical engineering is coming up very well. Molecular biology is coming up very well. After the COVID situation, a lot to do with virology and microbiology, stuff like that. molecular biology. These things are really coming up in a different way. Pathology is coming up very well, but people who want to be into pathology really need to be people who love working on the chairs and with the samples, and that's about it. So, yeah, but pathology is coming up again. I mean, it was always an important line, but I think after this, it is really once again taken a front seat. So I think we had a quick glimpse of what is in and
I'm sorry, barging in a couple of quick, we have already overrun time, but I would still want a couple of minutes. Number one, if any one of them decides that commerce or science is not their forte,
yes.
and they want to get into the arts or the fine art situations, can we address that for a couple of minutes for them?
Actually, there's no issue. When we talk of arts, so we have our main subjects coming in as English, economics, then we have geography, history, political science, psychology, fine arts, physical and health education, and home science. These are a few of the very, very important streams that move on. Of course, we can do honors in everything. Philosophy, I will say, doesn't have much scope, to be honest. But these streams do have a great, if you want to be a geologist, you want to be a historian, these will help you a long way. Also, humanities takes you a little ahead in, I would say, preparation of civil services. Economics is a good field if you really want to get into any sort of economy, management, being an economist. You want to integrate it with statistics. So economics is one way open, which leads you to a lot of pathways where statistics is used. You can, of course, become educationists. You can get into pure sciences, which can further lead you to specializations in your own segments. Home science, you have Institute of Home Economics, as we all know, is one of the premium institutes. If you want to become a dietitian, you want to get into nutrition, then, everybody is becoming a nutrition nowadays by dint of just doing certain courses. But if you really want to get into nutrition as a serious career, home science is to be done. And history we've done, geography we've done, political science, of course, anything to do with policy making, political science will really help you into that. And languages, of course, any languages apart from English, if they are there. Physical and health education, if anybody wants to become an instructor or wants to get into some kind of a gym trainer or something, it helps you there. Fine arts, if you want to do fine arts at the graduation level, you need to have fine arts in your +2. It is again a line which needs a lot of commitment. People think it's something which is very easy to do, but it's not like that. It's a full-fledged subject. And that's about it. You can get into hotel management, you can get into culinary sciences, you can get into all these fields. You can get into public relations, you can get into a lot of other fields, which stem out from public relations. So like front desk in hotel management, all these fields can be really be pursued after doing your humanities. I can't hear you. Please come again.
Guys, I think we have about, if I actually look at, there are about 3,000 different streams which are available, and it would be impossible to actually get in. The idea is that all of you choose and select what you think you can manage. The idea is that you, in case you have a doubt that am I suitable or do I fit into a certain kind of a subject stream, as we said, you can actually see what your interest lies in. Number two, you can always get into a psychometric test and see what are the preferences that are coming out. So anybody who has a question pertaining to any of the streams, you're more than welcome. We can, I think, still leave the house open for another couple of minutes. And post that, even if after the session, you can always get back. You can get back to Dr. Kavita at GSL, or you can actually get in touch with Monica ma'am, and she can forward that situation to any one of us to help answer those questions for you. But you have the opportunity right now. Anybody has a question on any of them, the commerce or the arts, science we already saw. So please, anybody wants to ask, please shoot.
I would also like to pull in the time we have. As you said, for humanities, of course, they can go into things like mass comm very comfortably. They can get into photography, filmmaking, food and beverages production, hospitality, travel and tourism, of course, lot of vocational studies, all sorts of fashion, I would say. I mean, you are the better judge at fashion, Dr. Aditya. So we have things like fashion design, luxury, styling, merchandising, jewelry, leather designing, product design, textile. I mean, fashion itself is a complete discipline, I would say. So yeah, design is also a huge discipline. They can figure out if they really want to get into that.
Good, guys, anybody has a question? Nobody. We have such already known batches around. Everybody knows what to do already. Huh? Nobody needed this advice. We spent 2 hours giving it for.
Yes, children. Any doubts cropping up in your mind? Any clarity which is needed? This is the time. Just open up and speak. Anybody?
I guess no. All right. Still, nonetheless, anybody feels that they have a question, as we said, you're free to get back anytime on any streams, any specific questions. Please feel free. You can always, Dr. Kavita is available at gsledu.com. We can see the website and we can see the email ID there. You can actually write to her directly as well in case you wish to. And otherwise, Monica ma'am is always around.
I would really मतलब चेहरे तो बच्चे वाक्य में ऑनलाइन के बाद ना दिखाने भूल गए हैं and
yeah, we are very hopeful now, and we thank God that they are back in school.
I know. We really miss them a lot. We really miss them. The school doesn't seem a school if they are not there.
Yeah, they are the life of the school.
Totally,
I mean, seeing their faces only, is what is, school all about. Otherwise, it was just blank walls all around.
I appreciate it. So I would like to thank Monica ji, Dr. Aditya, all the other members, senior members, dear parents, students, and I'm hopeful that you've gotten some direction to where and what you should be. So we definitely wish them the best in the upcoming examinations and in the life. And do check onto the NIRF and the NAC rankings. This is a very serious advice to you. If you got to check things on the systems on your computers, on the Google. For foreign universities, do get on to the QS and the Webometrics ranking system. Do not randomly choose any college or any university without these rankings. Of course, since you all are Delhi students, Delhi University is on the top. Indraprastha University really comes just behind that. And we have, of course, the IITs and the triple ITs, the NITs. We have the IIMs, we have JIPMER, AFMC, AIMS for medical students. Of course, there are a lot of other, I would say, universities. We have SRM, we have VIT, we have SIMBI, we have NARSI. So these are a few ones where you can really apply and get into good hands and get the, I would say, the relevant facilities, upgraded facilities and a good faculty also. So I wish all of you good luck and thank you so much for being patient audience. Good luck to everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita. I think it's been Wonderful. Someday, perhaps we'll be able to touch base on all 3,000 options.
Oh my God, that sometimes becomes difficult for us also, you know.
I know
Uh,
it's like a
if,
crazy game
oh
that
yes,
you come across a new career tagging line every day.
yeah. And you know
So
what happens is that a particular career has so many profiles. So if I talk of
true.
education, so you see, you write from a nursery teacher to the principal to the lecturer. You have a nursery teacher, a primary teacher, a subject specialist, a TGT, a PGT, a vice principal, a senior lecturer, assistant lecturer at the college level, at the university, and the lecturers and the main professors, and then super specializing in having their doctorates. So it's like just too many. And I think education is probably one of the ones which has sort of very designated profiles. But these new age careers, trust me, you are really an enigma because they're still moving on to newer posts and profiles. So yes, and they're really happening at a very quick pace. So thank you all once again. Wish you good luck. Bye bye. Have a great time ahead.
Thank you. I think we need to thank Dr. Kavita for all her efforts and the time and trying to make you guys choose the right stream. Thank you, Monica ma'am. I think we've had a great time, and thank you for allowing everybody to overrun the times as well. And
Thank
I
you.
think
Yeah.
I
And,
need to thank Father Principal and the school management. I think they've been kind enough to actually let all the students be available to ask throughout the sessions.
Yes, I'm
Good question.
sure. Definitely our heartfelt gratitude to the school management and Father Principal and all others who are in the team and behind the scenes. It's very kind of you to really let the students explore themselves and see what is best for their career. Thank you so much.
Davina, quickly, you have a question we'll address.
Okay, all right.
Davina asked,
Thank you, ma'am, for an amazing session. Ma'am, I wanted to ask how we can contact you personally for further guidance.
Okay, all right. So you have the mail, right? And you can write in us at info@gsleduexcellence.com.
Okay,
Or
ma'am.
yeah, or you have the numbers also below on the screen. If you want, I'll just repeat. This is 766969191, and the toll-free number, which is 1800-419-0307. And definitely we can get back in touch.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
God bless.
you
yeah,
guys,
I would like to add here something. Firstly, a big thanks to Father Principal, and of course, a special thanks to Dr. Kavita for this beautiful, enriching session and being so patient and clearing all the doubts of all the students. And of course, a very special thanks to Dr. Aditya. He was the one who came and he, brought in this little idea of having a very special session for the class, 10 students and parents, at this stage, where a lot of confusion, a lot of doubts, prevail in their minds. So I think this was the right time and the right opportunity for all of them. So thank you, Dr. Aditya. And of course, thank you, dear parents. And of course, dear students, we cannot end the session before taking this very important takeaway, which has been given to us by Dr. Kavita, where she said, do you have it in you? What you choose to be? Does it take you to a milestone? So this is the time, ponder, think, what choices have I made? You still have time. If you really feel you want to make a change, please do contact us in school, and we are always there with you. So thank you so much.
Monica ji, I would just like to add on to one line.
Yeah.
We have on our websites, the CBSE,
Yeah.
and these students should, the ones who are in doubt, the ones who are clear, it's fine, it's great. We should glance through the course content, and the students should browse through. So I think they can also get in touch with the senior teachers at school, if that is permitted. And they can sit in, I don't know if it is allowed in your school, they can sit in for a few classes and try and see how well they go with everything. So these 5, 7, 10 days of doing a little extra research and immersing themselves in a little more of the subject matter maybe tells them a little more of what they really want to do and how viable it is for them to do.
Yeah, definitely. That's
I was
very,
hoping
very
somebody would pop up and say, I want to be a politician. Nobody popped up here.
and yeah, so maybe
People
they're
have
all
no-
politicians
People
in a
don't
way
want
of
to
so.
rise in life, yeah. I was hoping
Yeah.
to see a couple of guys popping up and saying, I want to be a politician. I want to be a WWF fighter. I want to be a Ferrari 1 driver. I don't see people with excitement in life here.
Yeah, let's wait and let's hope many of them will be there. Aditya.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would like some people to be more experimental in life.
Nahin, they will be once they are in their +2, they will realize a lot about themselves. And aisa nahi hai, they're still too new to the sort of, I would say, reality of education in terms of the careers. And I'm sure we will have a few politicians, F1 drivers, and maybe a few more Virat Kohlis and APJ Kalam. I mean, we will definitely have them. My blessings are all with them. And they are wonderful people who survived through COVID in such a wonderful manner. Don't underestimate the power of students nowadays, Dr. Aditya.
I don't.
Absolutely.
I have brought up two of
Yes.
them. Ask me.
All
And
right.
so, thank you once again.
Yeah. So if I may be permitted, I have another session. Please
sure,
continue.
sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dr. Kavita, before I just end, I also take this opportunity to thank all our class teachers. They've been very patient and, a special word of thanks for them. So thank you all. And may God bless each one of you and wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you for saving the world from COVID in a very different way.
Yes.
Because COVID was happening outside and you were all helping us inside, being, warriors at home and being able to really deal with the kind of things. Because of you, the students got valuable knowledge, and I think a lot of their time was well spent. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much.